Good morning, night, afternoon, whenever you're deciding to watch this. I am your play-by-play caster, username underscore Intel, here joined by Mr. Acronator, as we are here to cast week 1 of League Zero Season 4 Advanced Division, as we are here with Goofy Goobers and Powerhouse. Mr. Acronator, how do you feel? Yeah, I definitely agree. When it comes to at least the advanced division, during the draft, both of these teams having kind of a different perspective. We saw kind of a hit or miss. Both of these teams not really rated that high, besides from maybe Goofy Goobers and Powerhouse. These teams were kind of either rated very high or very kind of in the medium. So I'm wondering what's the difference going to make. But Powerhouse is a returning brand, so I think they're coming in knowing that they're ready to win. I definitely agree. We do have some recognizing players, at least on the Goofy Goobers. Obviously, Phone, Ra, and Silent Sword are very kind of recognizable players. We've seen them a lot, but we do have some new talent, at least to my eyes. So, as we start getting into the map, I definitely think this is going to be very intense. I don't see this being a quick stomp unless one of these teams has just decided to not scrim. It's one of the best maps to kind of start, or at least one of the best points to start out, especially on Lijiang Tower, because I would say this doesn't really give a fair opinion on how you can run. So you can still hide some strategies and still hide what you want to do. Because look at these teams. We see one side running out with the Reinhardt Monkey, but the other running out with a D.Va, yet the DPS and support lines are exactly the same.
Five, four, three, two, one. Round one. Capture the objective.
Yep. Look at them already going in. We're going to see Ak already out of the fight. The immortality keeping Powerhouse alive for a bit. We see Speed being able to just immediately walk over them, and there is just not much they can do. Looks like they just weren't ready or expecting just the complete brutality of Powerhouse.
Yeah, I don't know if they were fully expecting that, as they really just had great target focus there. You know, first fights happens from time to time, especially with the Azali onto the Doomfist having great target focus there. Oh no.
They're gonna teleport right behind Powerhouse, but the shatter! They weren't expecting the little jump from Speed, just going after it. Looks like Mythology is gonna be able to steal the 2K, ruining Speed's little play montage. Wow, we see the Doomfist phone just trying to escape. It looks like they might be able to even up this fight. That Slam and Ak being able to fight on point. The last person left is X-Runner, but Boreal's turrets are still alive, going to be able to even up this fight. We do hear the Doomfist returning back in. Azula looking even that Diva Bomb just to make sure they can re-mech into this fight. Going to have it back. Looks like Ak is just trying to do as much as they can, but everyone on the side of Goofy Goobers at this point are not together. They're staggered, and they are not completing. We do see Owner pop out the shatter, is going to manage to find out that Doomfist, but the window is now invested. They're looking to just heal as much as they can, but increase that damage fold, and it doesn't look like Goofy Goobers are going to have any chance to win back this fight. Look at that, the shatter comes out and it's going to get blocked. Those sim walls doing a lot more than you expect. Both of these teams are a little too scared, but it looks like Powerhouses are going to waste down now. Both of the sound barriers being committed from both teams as Mythology and Speed are able to even things up by ending to get some picks. Now Ak is using that Diva Bomb, looking to make something happen, but they have a shield and they're ready to clean it up. Looks like nobody's left alive, and Owner's the only one with an ultimate. Yeah, Mythology able to get Amelia, and now they are just barely able to touch Mrs. Diakio's gonna manage to find out Owners as they use that Simwa to block out any incoming damage. Powerhouse living up to the name, looking very dominant and looking like they plan to 3-0 or just have some very good control on these fights.
Score 0-1. Go. Ready for battle.
Let's shoot for a new high score.
Easy. Nothing's gonna stop.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Time to raise
Seeing them walking out, the Shadow Dive is focusing on getting the hack and then diving in, but that Maywall is going to force them to split up. But it looks like they are able to just perfectly dodge the majority of the damage. However, Ak is low. They don't have much of their mech, and so it looks like they have to take the Mega Health Pack and take their time when engaging onto this fight. Powerhouse has control of the point, and they're not going to overstay their welcome. They want to force the enemy team to just play onto them. Look at that phone. Teleports inside of them, instantly gets stunned by Azul, and then shuts down. Now without that Reaper, they lost the consistent amount of damage. Owners not going to be able to escape from that fight. Ak is even going to be demeched, while Raja is just going to go back to the spawn room. Looks like Powerhouse understand their win conditions to the fullest.
You're a champ.
Yeah, look at that mythology, able to get a massive pick first, getting that monkey. The immortality manages to sustain the rest of Powerhouse, who only really had to worry about Hawk. And even then, they're going to be D-Meg having to jump off the map solely so they can come back faster. Real does have the Blizzard. They have a sound barrier. They look pretty clean. And even that stagger onto Scorch is absolutely massive.
Check this out.
这样可以打服他们。
Gonna make you feel better.
Apagando las luces.
Yeah, on the bright side, that EMP does so much. They're able to get Bo real. They pop out the Blizzard, and they mirror both sound barriers on the team. Looks like we see Powerhouse wanting to retreat. They're able to find out Owners, which is really big. Doesn't have the Primal Rage, so they're not going to be able to come back faster. That Demon Bomb gets thrown in. The hack gets committed, and they're able to stop Speed from investing the shield to block out that damage. Now the fight's looking in favor of Goofy Goobers. They now hack X-Runner, who can't even use the Demon Bomb to remix, so now they're just coming out as a baby, and they're going to be melted. It's not looking great. Powerhouse just having to retreat. They are going to give up this point without a fight because they got it to 98%, so they just really need to win one fight.
Miss me. Iniciando el hackeo. Routing power to forward barrier.
Yeah, we just have to look at how they go. Death Blossom and High Noon, but it looks like Azula's hack is just gonna be taking out the McCree. The Death Blossom able to find the 2K. The Demon Bomb being placed in the middle of the room is not gonna be able to even things up, but it does manage to find out Ra. We see Owners committing into this fight. He doesn't have anything to worry about. He has the Martyr healing, and honestly, that was absolutely massive. They shut down the High Noon early on to that fight, and they just continue to commit and peel in for Phone to secure the victory.
This is my will.
Hey there.
Yep, now we see them taking their time. Look at that. Owner's already looking to jump. Has to use the Primal Rage so they don't fall off the map. Now we see them coming in. Phone taking the aggressive position. But Owner's able to get two with a Primal Boop. That's basically going to shut down this fight. We already see X-Runner jumping off the map to immediately reset. What almost a mistake turned into a glorious fixer-upper.
Ahorita regreso.
This will heal you.
Yeah, they get the hack onto Mr. Studio kill, so no immortality, but they do use the Blizzard. That's going to force everyone to move out. They touch the point, they get the boots, they're looking to find this fight. Mythology going to be using the sound barrier to help sustain them throughout this, but we do see Goofy Goobers doing an amazing job of spacing themselves out. They're not dying, but looks like Scorch isn't going to be able to sustain. The Hammer doesn't get blocked, and we see Phone using the Death Blossom. It does manage to find Mr. Studio kill, but Phone, lovely lass, is going back to the spawn room. We're now in overtime. We need to see Goofy Goobers make something happen, but the rest of their team is dead. I don't think Owners is going to be able to touch the point fast enough as we see the point slowly lose that time. Big jumping and just barely going to make it. The Demon Bomb gets placed, looking to find out any targets, but they're immediately melted. Mythology makes sure to also boop off Scorch before they can really get a good handle on the point, and they are just shutting down any form of a stall. I've never seen more accurate pinpoint kills. They do see Ak on the ball, which is their best chance of holding because the melee is just going to be shut down when they're on the Lucio. But even then, they get forced off the point in Powerhouse, making a beautiful statement as they win Lijiang Tower.
Play of the game.
My goodness, Powerhouse looks so dominant. I don't understand really what mentality they went into because I need that in a cup and I need them to sell it to me. They just did not hesitate. We saw them continuously playing as a team and making sure that no matter what they did, they died together. I never saw them die kind of split off. They made sure to clean up their fights when they were winning. And honestly, Powerhouse, they look so good. And I just want to see that coming out of Goofy Goobers. They're kind of slacking, or at least when it comes to the compositions, they're not fully committing. We saw them doing well when they had the Sombra. They were able to hack and then find the advantages there. But other than that, they were slowing down a lot. Yep, a short break. Uh, yeah, does that sound better? My microphone's like at the lowest it can be. Oh wait, hold up. Is that better? Okay, weird. Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna lower my input. How's that? How's that? How's that? A B C. I'm good, or keep going. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Hello? Hello? Yeah. All right. Is that good? Do 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 do. An echo? Oh, that's probably why. Yeah. Uh. Hello?
Testing 1, 2. Good enough.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope the audio issues are clearing up. I know you missed Mr. Acronator's voice, as it seemed that nobody could hear him.
Hopefully it's fixed now. I'll be watching the stream chat. I have it in my other monitor. So be just waiting for a stream delay just a moment here for that to catch up.
Just
But
look
yeah.
at him egoing. Oh, has 2 monitors, thinks he's better than all of us.
That's pretty standard nowadays. But either way, while we are waiting for the stream delay to catch up, we have a few other things we could talk about. You know, obviously Powerhouse took Lijiang Tower 2-0. And coming into this next map, it is going to be Hollywood. That would be Goofy Goober's pick. Looks like Powerhouse wants to stay on the offense, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because they haven't said they wanted to swap sides. And they do. They do have the ability to. Sorry, I'm reading Twitch chat as well. That hasn't gone up yet. So yeah, there's in terms of what you can do on Hollywood, it is going to be potentially more like double shield, something like that. But I think more commonly you'll see something like double bubble or the stereotypical brawl that we saw Powerhouse roll out on for Gardens for Lijiang. So I would expect to see more of that. It seems to be what Powerhouse wants to run for the time being.
I definitely agree. Hollywood is one of those maps. I love Hollywood so much. It gives a lot of different styles depending not only on the meta, but sometimes the division. I've seen, at least in the intermediate, they ran double shield. Novice likes to run brawl. So I'm more wondering, what is Advanced going to run? Are they going to prefer a Sega ball? What are the variations they can try?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if anyone would want to run like a Wrecking Ball composition on Hollywood, at least not on like first point. It's viable, but it's not as good as you might think. Um, Interesting to see Goofy Goobers run out on an Orisa composition, although not completely out of left field. Like I said, it is possible. It kind of depends on their comfort zones, whereas the double bubble is being teased right now from Powerhouse, so they might be running out on that. Granted, they're on the offense, so it's hard to say. They have a little bit more time to meme and spawn if they so desire.
Yeah, honestly, wouldn't be too surprised, but I am very interested about what we see Goofy Goobers run, because I don't know. I've seen this run before, but I don't know how confident I am seeing the Orisa Diva. You know, I was always skeptical.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a niche composition. It's been popularized as of late. I think some team in Owl tried to play it recently. Forget to what success, but it is technically viable.
Yeah, look at them already committing onto the dive, playing the high ground, but immediately Speed is just going to be melted down. Got hit by Stickies. Owners was doing an amazing job with the focus fire, and now they're just looking for that rotating Ana. Looks like Mark is just going to be unfortunately back in the spawn room.
Yeah, Marquis getting dragged out back to spawn there isn't exactly the best case scenario, but at the same time, it's double bubble. You're going to get back relatively quick, especially on offense if Hollywood first. So they're going to be able to just get back into it. They just need to worry about their bubble rotations, you know, from X Runner and Speed, and they can get a clean engagement.
Going back in, we do see Speed having to use that bubble to save himself, but not only save himself, but allow his team to rotate. Now they're going to be forcing everyone on Goofy Goobers off the high ground. This is good. This gives them the chance to look to find some advantage as we see the rest of Goofy Goobers playing underneath the house. They're taking their time. Wow. Powerhouse wait for their nano. They're going to immediately start going in, but that window's now placed. They managed to find out 3 targets though with the initial dive, and it looks like they're going to be finding the rest of Goofy Goobers. They just weren't prepared. The window came out a little too late. Even with Speed going down in the bungle being committed, we see the Graviton Surge being used just to make sure that they can capture this point.
You know, I don't think we really got to highlight him enough in Season 3 because Z9 was just like a ridiculous amount of good because they had like actual trials players or whatnot, but Marquis is a disgusting flex support player in the best way possible, and I think coming into this Powerhouse team, he's going to be like one of those unsung heroes.
And look at that. Speed wanting to try to commit a bit into the fight, but it's just going to back up a bit. Look how many ultimates we do see on the side of Powerhouse. Whenever they choose to commit, they can commit with as much as they want. They break Phone's turret. They manage to get Ra. Now the Molten Core is placed to stop anyone from coming in. The Immortality is there, and they split up, so they don't have too much to worry about. But now we see Speed using that Primal Rage, but immediately starts going down to less than half health. They use the Pulse Bomb onto Amelia. They're going to be able to find her. And now it's just for the rest of the scattered enemy team. Goofy Goobers are able to find out Wreck, who was pushing the payload. Same with the McCree. We see Azul's just trying to escape, but Ra's beam does so much damage, especially at half health. Looks like they're able to stabilize in the end.
I don't think we've seen Phone play the Torbjorn too much in the past, outside of like a few meme situations, but this one is definitely more of a serious match. You know, this is a real strategy, as we just saw recently in the Overwatch League. We've seen various teams play it as well. And this is going to be really difficult for the double bubble of Powerhouse to dislodge Goofy Goobers from this high ground, but that's going to be their win condition. They have to do that if they want to win.
Yeah, now they're going to push in. Owners is able to find out the McCree. The Immortality is now gone for the side of Goofy Goobers, but they have so much to work with. We see Phone able to find out Mar, who was just kind of looking to escape from the fight, but Phone is a sneaky sniper on the Torbjorn.
Yeah, well, pretty much. And again, it's just going to be rinse, repeat, go back to the high ground, wait for Powerhouse to push through, and they don't have to worry about anything. Coming into this as well, I mean, when you look at the ultimate disparity, Goofy Goobers have a massive advantage. Owners can just drop down the bongo whenever they feel like, Raja can toss out the duplicate whenever they feel like, and I'd imagine we're going to see a rather scrappy engagement coming into this.
But they are able to kind of get a good poke in. We see Speed trying to be, they try to focus down Speed, but he's able to jump around and play the game. Bra is able to get the copy onto the monkey and is going after the McCree inside the backline, but Phone is able to find out the monkey that was in front of them. Of course, able to even it up by making sure to get out that McCree, while the Primal Rage coming from Ra looking to finish up any of the other target. And their double shield is looking so strong right now, able to stop any dive from finding value.
That's no double shield, that's a good old-fashioned single shield, Orisa. Not quite pulled pork, as it were, because the Roadhog is not in play, but the EOC's D.Va is nothing to be scoffed at, as we've seen thus far. I mean, he's been doing a great job protecting the rest of his team. He has the D.Va bomb that he can just toss in whenever they feel like. And my question for Powerhouse coming into this fight is, how do they get value out of, say, X-Runners grab? Well, they might not get a chance to, because losing Mythology that early is not a great start to the fight. Yeah, okay, well, Phone saw an opportunity and they went for it.
I wonder how much they have Phone scrim on the Torb is absolutely massive on the hammer. We do see coming up on the D.Va bomb too, so they do have some form of kind of security against the Graviton Surge.
Yeah, definitely. However, coming into this, I mean, like, again, how does X-Runner find value out of the Graviton Surge? They need to get to the high ground first.
And look at that. The bubble's placed down. They managed to break Speed's bubble. Now Speed just has to wait. They use the rally. They're going to build up some armor, build up some sustain, while the window's there stopping them from committing. But Ra just goes a little bit too far in, gets stunned, and gets shut down. Now we see the Graviton Surge gets eaten by Hawk, and the high noon gets pulled away. Now that D.Va bomb being placed almost lands on the high ground, but is able to find out Mark? I don't know where they were, but it looks like the rest of Goofy Goobers are just finding some advantage, using the rally just to make sure that they have nothing to worry about. Their spawns are so close, they have nothing to sweat, and they shut down a push that could have ended it all.
That was Powerhouse's best chance to take this second point. They only have 30 seconds left, so this is one fight territory. EOC eating that grab is absolutely monumental to holding there, because I'm not sure how they would have dealt with it otherwise, especially because Scorch had already used his lamp, so that would have been a great amount of survivability.
Yeah, now they're pushing in for an early fight. They use that bongos while we saw Powerhouse just trying to rotate. They're not going to be able to get it. The D.Va's already there. It's going to stop it the moment they try. Now we see Rob managed to get the Tracer, but they're immediately going to stop that copy. They're finding the picks. The Molten Core gets you. We see them even it up. 2 picks lost on the same side. It looks like the Goobers aren't going to sweat too much because they have Phone on the Torbjorn, as well as Scorch, who, can I say, has not only been doing an amazing job of peeling for their team, but getting consistent damage in.
That was honestly a really good defense from Goofy Goobers. I don't think there's any other way to put it. I was trying to think of something witty, but no, honestly, that was just really solid play on the defense. They never really gave up control of the high ground, and if they did, they made sure the Powerhouse weren't going to get control of the high ground either. So this, while it is defendable, as we just saw, Goofy Goobers did a really great job of defending second points. It's gonna be rough, right? If Goofy Goobers can have at least a half decent attack, odds are they can push there. I am going to be curious to see if they run out on this Orisa composition once again on the offense and try to play for that like slower composition. How well that would even work. Yeah, okay, so they're teasing it at the very least. So might see some swap ups in the next 40 seconds, but right now they're on it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to apologize. Honestly, what makes me so skeptical of the, Orisa D.Va composition is that it just doesn't feel right. Maybe I just haven't seen it enough, but Goofy Goobers have changed my mind. This is now a legit composition and can be run very well. So I can honestly see it working on attack. I don't know how well. At least it stops Powerhouse from being able to dive on top of them. They obviously know how to play against it.
It's basically similar to Double Shield, except with the D.Va they have more peel, so they have a little bit more survivability, I suppose, when the opposing team gets straight in their face. They almost lost all of their survivability with Amelia and Scorch donating approximately 30% of Azali's duplicate charge to them, but, you take those if you're Azali.
They're gonna use her Maywall not to find anyone out of position, but rather to allow them to rotate. Bone Cert does get sacrificed in the meanwhile, and a big Dynamite's gonna be able to start melting them down just a tiny bit. A little sizzle, a little melted cheese, as I'd like to say, as we now see the fight commence. Speed taking in a majority of the damage. They're looking to melt them down, and it looks like the Monkey's just not gonna be able to survive this round, as the rest of Powerhouse are hiding. They're scared, and that bat window was built so incredibly fast. That wasn't even 30 seconds inside the fight, and it looks like they're going to be able to start capturing this point. Goofy Goobers, they may be a little goofy, but they are no goobers.
Yeah, I think everyone, while they were uncertain of the exact heights of Goofy Goobers, they were fully aware in the preseason that there's a lot of upset potential here. Now, this is just one map. They still need to get through second points. But thus far, it feels like Powerhouse just doesn't quite know how to answer this Orisa composition, because it's a lot stickier than I think what they were used to if this was like a Brawl comp, say, with the Reinhardt instead of the Orisa. So you're having Powerhouse just kind of flounder around trying to figure out, okay, how do we approach this? How do we get in their faces and punish them?
But on the bright side, they do have the Echo copy onto the D.Va. They find Amelia very early, but Speed gets traded in the same sense. It looks like Mark is able to find out owners as they use the D.Va bomb to try to split people up. They manage to res out Speed on top of the Moen Core, not afraid of anything. Looks like we're going to be seeing Goofy Goobers having to attempt to fight this another time.
Got a little bit dicey there with Speed falling rather early. I believe the res came in from Mythology, and that's rather good. But I mean, I think that does spell out a lot of the difficulties Powerhouse is having right now, and they're trying to get in the middle of Goofy Goobers' bunker, is that Speed just doesn't have that survivability, right? Because Marquis and Mythology can only do so much before they just get melted, right? They can't keep up.
Yeah, they used the nano really early on Speed, but the Blizzard gets used, so we have to see Speed jump inside the backline. Now using that primal range, hoping to make something happen. Ox D.Va Bomb doesn't find much value, but the Bob is making sure that nobody on the side of Goofy Goobers can really play comfortably. They boop Owners to the point where Owners just dies. Now Owners, as the D.Va Bomb gets placed, we're going to be seeing Amelia just have to back up in the rest of Goofy Goobers. Without the Orisa, they don't really have the center point of their composition. They are able to poke, but the dive is so strong that they're now still committing into this fight. We see Rod just looking to freeze someone up, has to just freeze himself. And Bone is building up these Moen Cores eerily fast, I'm going to have to say. Maybe some stats increase. That's all I'm saying. As Mythology is going to be using Devout, we do see Recophobia is going to be picked out by Ock. Was a little bit too far out. They're pushing the payload, having nothing to worry about. Speed just backing up, looking to take the time, waiting for the dive. The res goes back onto Rekatobia. The copy goes out. They're able to get the copy. They're looking to break that bongo on the side of Goofy Goobers. They're no longer going to have it. Wow, Goofy Goobers are still playing centered. We're not seeing anyone really going down that low. It's kind of in a big poke fight. They're messy in a mosh pit, but Speed finally going to be going down. Same with Azula. They are just in an unfortunate situation where they took so long not being able to secure a fight that the ultimates were built, and now Goofy Goobers have so much security and space to move in.
However, Powerhouse does have one clean defense remaining, right? They have the time, they have the ultimates. Specifically, they have Bob. I'd expect that to come out rather soon just to contest the cart.
And but how much contesting can you do?
Oh, no.
They're so
Oh,
focused
no.
and they're doing so much targeting. Phone builds up another molten core. The Blizzard Diva Bomb gets placed. They drop it on the point, and it looks like the rest of Powerhouse, they just seem to be so uncomfortable fighting against this. And Goofy Goobers, they may not look good on Lijiang Tower, but they looked clean on Hollywood.
I think this is more the composition that they've been practicing, just from the difference in performance, right? No real surprises. Peter, aka Zali, steals the play of the game. Not sure what specifically this was.
Well, it was something. They managed to steal it off of Phone, just immediate molten cores. Look at that. That was absolutely clean. But now, I think we can say this is kind of an even series. This can go anyone's way, just how even these teams look.
Oh, definitely. I think in particular, if Goofy Goobers decides to stick onto this composition, depending on the map, of course, it could be easier or more difficult for them if they go to something like Gibraltar. I don't even remember if that's in the map pool, but the teams do. They're the ones who have to worry about that, not us. We just take it as it comes along. But you know, if there's a map with like more verticality, then I could see this Orisa composition having a bit of difficulty, especially on like the offense. But otherwise, I mean, Phone was getting a disgusting amount of value from these molten cores, and Powerhouse just didn't really seem to know how they wanted to approach it. Right? You'd have Speed jump in, but then they'd get melted, and then you're just stuck without a Winston and double bubble, and that's basically the end of that fight. So it's difficult for Powerhouse. I think they're going to need to shake something up, but they're such good players. They're such smart players from what I've seen in past seasons that unless they're just mentally boomed right now, they should be able to come back and at least show us a different look.
No way. I don't expect Powerhouse to be out of it this early into the map. I mean, they definitely did do well. We have to give them props, but Powerhouse, they've never been a team to give up so easily.
Definitely.
What?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So I think coming into the next map, verticality is going to matter, but more importantly, it's going to matter on how Powerhouse fixes up their strategy. They've seen a taste of what Goofy Goobers can run, so now it's up to not only the coaches but the players to start adapting to it. That was the biggest issue. They ran into the same thing and they couldn't find a reason to break it.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Gibraltar, ironically enough, not too surprisingly, is going to be the next map to be chosen. I think that was very deliberate from Powerhouse. Like I said, a vertical map like Gibraltar, I don't know how this Orisa composition approaches that on offense. I can understand a little bit maybe if they have like snipers and they kind of create a crossfire. I don't know if Raja is particularly comfortable on the snipers. I'd have to say yes because they've looked really good on everything hit scan thus far. I know Phone is rather comfortable whenever they play like Hanzo, for example, so I could definitely see that. But I think if they're going to run the Orisa, it might be a little bit more difficult to get the positioning they want as opposed to something like, say, a Wrecking Ball or Winston composition.
Yeah, there's just too many, not angles, but the high ground is such in an uncomfortable situation that I don't see that Orisa staying in the same spot for too long. However, I'm more than confident that Goofy Goober's DPS can flex around and play whatever hit scan projectile they need. Honestly, it looks so strong. But I'm wondering, how does Powerhouse beat against it? They looked good on the dive, but I wonder if Goofy Goobers can play against it. Obviously, when it came to Brawl v Brawl, Powerhouse won. Against Dive v Dive, I wonder if Powerhouse has the advantage in that sense because they already have the practice. We've seen how they look on it and they look confident.
Yeah, definitely. Powerhouse already looked pretty good on, say, the double bubble. We did see a little bit of so what was it called? Shadow Dive on Lijiang Tower for Gardens from Goofy Goobers. Granted, that didn't go too well, so I'm not entirely sure how that would go. But at the very least, we know Goofy Goobers is willing to try that composition. Right now, the question is going to be how comfortable are they going to be swapping off of this Orisa composition after having a relatively dominant performance that previous map, right? Hollywood was pretty much in their favor. Getting held on second point like that for Powerhouse is pretty good for them, especially considering the power rankings coming into this, right? So, yeah, we're pretty much just waiting for, I believe, Goofy Goobers to be ready. Powerhouse has already given the R. So, yeah, again, I think the biggest question coming into this next map is how much is Goofy Goobers going to be forced to adapt, and how comfortable are they going to be with that adaptation now that they've proven that their bunker can work? Can anything else work better than whatever Powerhouse is running, right?
Definitely is. We're in a realm of skeptability. Wow, it's only been 2 maps. I feel like this has only been map 1. These teams have only showed a taste of what they can run. They've truly yet to clash. First map was kind of a roll, second map was kind of a good hold. So now, as we move into Watchpoint Gibraltar, I can't wait to see what the teams attempt to try.
As we get into the map, of course, Goofy Goobers opting to, or no, they were the one who chose the map. So Powerhouse opting. No, sorry, Powerhouse chose this map. So Goofy Goobers, unsurprisingly, opting to stick on the defense. I think Powerhouse just wanted the offense the previous time. They were feeling the momentum. You know, they could taste the 3-0, and that didn't quite work out. So we are seeing Goofy Goobers on this Orisa composition. On defense, I could see it, right? Like, it's not incredible, because if you lose the high ground, I'm not sure how they retake it. But they could just make it their mission to stay on the high ground, no matter what, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of room to kind of play this comp, so I can definitely see it. I'm just wondering how it'll work.
Yeah, it's once the dive, in this case, what Powerhouse is teasing, although we could swap it up a little bit. I kind of doubt Zali's going to be running out on the Bastion, as funny as that would be. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So once Powerhouse gets on top of Goofy Goobers, I want to see how they react, because high ground is such a powerful thing this map.
Now look at this, we see them kind of just slowly waiting. Powerhouse has really nothing to worry about too much as the payload continues to move on. Rek is able to find out Phone's turret that was placed in cheeky spot. Now the dive goes to him. Speed just gets shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about being pushed off high ground if you just stop people from getting on high ground. Rekophobia also gets picked off by Ra, a little sneaky shot, a little headshot as I'd like to say. But look how they perfectly play this high ground. The people that don't have to be up there just don't. But they force Speed away as Ak is able to use the thrusters from the D.Va mech to force them off. Now, the payload's going into a spot where there's not going to be much of a brawl, but Speed can't really commit, gets stunned out, but they are able to find out Amelia. That's a good pick. Speed does get traded in, but they managed to find out Phone as well. So the last people alive is really is the supports and kind of the tanks. They have to just move out. They don't want that payload moving as much as they can, so they switch over to server rooms, they take out Rekophobia, and now they set up.
And it's going to be a little bit awkward for both of these teams, however. It looks like Speed will probably get back a bit sooner than the others on Goofy Goober, so they kind of have to bunker up into the server room with the Mega Health Pack and try and stay alive while they can.
Yeah, they use the nano onto Speed just to let the person be able to run in. The immortality is going to sustain before they could die, so it's not too much to worry about. But now the Moron Core gets thrown in. Might be a little too late. Rod does find Mythology. However, the rest of their team is kind of just slowly being pushed out. They aren't even able to fully commit to this. My goodness, X-Runner gets picked out. They throw out the Bob hoping to eat this up, but look at that. They trade out by using their own Bob. Now it's a Bob v Bob as they all fight in the server room. Speed able to find out Ra. So on the bright side, that's already gone. Azula able to find out Amelia, but Speed is still open, so this fight is still there. They use that pulse bombs, not able to find them, but it does force them back. Look at them already moving into this small room. Now the rally's being used to counter out that bongo. I don't know how well it's going to be using in the end. The Grandma's Usher is thrown from a Hail Mary. Now they're looking to finish it out. They're able to melt out Scorch. They find out Home, but Speed still gets traded, and they manage to cap by just forcing the enemy team to just not play on point.
It feels like Powerhouse are starting to get an idea of how these engagements need to work to dislodge this bunker. As we saw in Hollywood, it's a very awkward composition to jump in onto, because you have the Orisa, you have the D.Va, who's actually a little bit more flexible as opposed to something like a Sigma, and then even Phone on their Torbjorn pick is just this menace to Speed in particular. The little shotgun alternate fire is doing wonders for the damage outputs, and it makes it really awkward for Speed to engage. So you almost need to build up like Nano Boost or Primal Rage before Speed is allowed to jump in, you know?
I fully believe that they've just been #phoned going into this next fight. We see them prepared in the rocket ship, which is kind of good. Now the nano gets used on Speed's able to just start walking in. The Bob gets thrown, and it looks like Azula's going to be traded out in the end. Now they're moving in. We see them use the window. They're looking to find targets. The monkey's now primal, looking to find someone. They find Scorch. The Diva Bomb finds Ott, who was just using the bomb to try to force them out and rematch. But it looks like they have now found the security and way to play against his Powerhouse, finally taking the momentum in their favor.
Yeah, and I think it's more than just the map pick. You know, the verticality is playing a little bit of a difference here, but I think it's more just Powerhouse is taking engagements entirely differently. Speed is playing a little bit more passively until they have something like an boost or a Primal Rage, until they have some amount of extreme survivability so that he doesn't get melted. Like this.
Yeah, now we see them going in. That rally is going to be able to secure them, while the Molten Core is just looking to stop them from engaging. Speed has to use a lot of resources just to be able to escape with their life, and they need it to, so they can just re-engage. Look at that. Taking a bit of damage. They want to build up that nano. That's kind of their engage key, a little ticket. But Speed is taking so much initial poke. Now going in, looking to just make it. Gets the nano. Gonna be able to start walking out. That bomb gets placed. It's thrown onto the payload, but it gets slapped. The Graviton Surge is out, but it doesn't get followed up on. The anti is still being saved because there was an immortality, but it's gone by this point, so Owners just has to go in back to the spawn room and try to figure out a plan B. Now they're able to D-Mac out the Diva, looking for the rest of the targets. That Pulse Bomb gets placed, stopping from anyone from moving it back into the spawn. But luckily, a couple of people just managed to sneak back in, but now they have to touch. We now see Ock on the Hog, looking to even things up. Scorch able to find out Rekophobia. While Owners plays the Wrecking Ball, looking to stay there. It's not going to be able to do much. Ox switches back over to the Reinhardt, looking to do much, but their back was turned. Takes that poke from the Bob, and they are just cleanly sweeping this up. No ultimates or ability being able to shut them down, and it looks like Powerhouse, looking a lot better, manages to cap Watch Point Gibraltar with 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
That is a demanding time bank for a full capture on Gibraltar. Like, that's rather good, right? Anything closer to 3 minutes is, quite frankly, a statement and a half. And I'm starting to notice the difference here in what Powerhouse is doing as opposed to Hollywood, right? So, of course, Speed is taking these a little bit more passive, more calculated dives onto the front line of Goofy Goobers, but more than that, Recto on the Tracer was going in the backline, dealing with the turret, dealing with the bongo whenever that was up, so that they weren't allowed to exist for more than just a few seconds at a time. And that really made a difference, because that's an extra crossfire now gone with the turret being destroyed as often, and then the bongo that's basically non-existent. Now you're actually starting to see some swaps come in for Goofy Goobers. Granted, this could have been the plan the entire time. Like I said, the Arisa comp is a little bit questionable on the offense. On the defense, it makes a bit more sense as long as you can hold your ground, which obviously they got dislodged. So Powerhouse run it on through all the way back up to the rocket ship. That's the word.
Yeah.
with a good time bank. So coming into this, I'm going to be interested to see if Goofy Goobers can keep that spark that they had on Hollywood with their Arisa composition now that they're fully off of it and onto a more standard brawl.
Don't expect that Symmetra to stay for too long. They're just using it to teleport onto bridge. It gives them control of height, but look at that, a nasty anti able to hit 2 people. Looks like they want to continue in with the Symmetra, looking to take in this brawl. Speedy's able to get the bubbles to be able to escape out of this fight, but now they're just continuing to press W in. Amelia's gonna be picked off first in the fight. The immortality doesn't save them fast enough, but Mythology's gonna be traded in the end. Scorch does get picked, but the monkey's just there, putting on that pressure. Looks like the Reinhardt wants to play on the high ground, but Rekophobia is just gonna be picking off the rest of the targets who were dangerously low and just didn't have the support, even getting the DMAC. They're gonna let Raw escape from this fight, and honestly, Rekophobia doing an amazing job of putting that pressure in.
Who unleashed Season 0 Recto? I haven't seen this kind of performance with him since he was a DPS duo to Zero, bringing it all the way back to 2018, but either way, I mean, he's basically up to his Pulse Bomb, and Goofy Goobers are looking a little bit awkward. They had to make quite a few swaps coming into this next push. I mean, Owners is basically up over to the Winston now.
Yeah, look at that. Now they're moving back in. They have to try to mirror it. Both monkeys going down very early in this fight. However, we do see Powerhouse. They have the nano. They have more sustain. They have the ability to take this fight. They control the momentum. So we see them pushing that payload underneath. It is going to be going behind them. It looks like they don't care too much, but now Rekophobia is going to be 1v1ing phone. Has to retreat, go over to the Mega Health Pack, and now they are setting up for the next fight.
Coming into this next fight, the big thing I'm going to be looking at is Marquee 8's Nano Boost, if we want a hard engage, that's probably going to be it. However, as I say, that speed pops the Primal Rage. That's probably the engagement tool.
Yeah, it really is. Without Phone being alive, you don't have anyone to follow up on that damage. So that Primal Rage was really all they needed to secure, and it helps give them time. They build up the Grav and the Bob. So now Powerhouse are looking very tanky.
Yeah, I mean, Powerhouse are basically hoarding ultimates at this point. I think that's Phone on the cart, pushing it a little bit further. Yeah, but Recto goes down to contest them, and that's gonna. Oh wow, Recto actually wins the 1v1. I was expecting a disengage.
Nope, shouldn't be surprised. We do see Speed get picked off, was a bit overcommitted, but the Graviton Surge plus the Nano is helping Extra Runner shut down owners. Now they don't have the Monkey to engage, they don't have a Tracer to look for extra poke, so now they're just looking to find some ult charge. But even then, Extra Runner is using the bubble to deny them any form of ult charge, but still being able to commit some damage. Phone returning back in is gonna touch that payload, but look at that, the Monkey's returned, and now we get to see attempt 2.
Yeah, pretty much dive. 2 electric boogaloo. Oh, okay, Recto. He's starting to feel it.
Yeah, look at that. The Diva Bomb goes out and Anne's able to boop out Azul, and then eventually Phone's able to find a little headshot, cleaning that up, but Speed's able to find out the Diva, they find out Ra. This is not looking too good. They don't look so comfortable on the dive, to the point where now they're trying to mirror and switch things up to find some ability. They built up ultimates, they have room to play, and it looks like that Pulse Bomb's not going to be used in the next fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Phone, unfortunately, didn't get too much value. They're just going to have to push the card at this point. They need to make sure they can contest and also not lose the 1v1 to Recto, because that would be tragic. But an early Nano Boost onto owners is going to be Goofy Goobers' attempts to contest once again.
Yeah, look at that, the anti-grenade able to hit X-Runners, however, they are just barely being able to escape. The bomb gets placed, that's going to be thrown immediately onto point, but it gets booped, managing to take out the Zarya. Now the rally is invested from the side of Powerhouse, that's giving them some extra sustain. Nobody on the side of Goofy Goobers can really touch point, and now we see Amelia just being booped around. Phone's going to get headshotted and not be able to return back to this fight. Now we're going into the last 10 seconds. Speed is doing an amazing job of making sure this break just plays so uncomfortably. While that anti is able to hit Speed, so he has to use the jump just to be able to escape, get some extra healing. X-Runners coming back with the Graviton Surge. We see Rectophobia able to hit Scorch. That's going to shut down the main source of healing. They managed to get out owners using that Nano. They want to make sure they clean up and secure this fight, not giving them a chance. Who needed them to attack, because that bomb's going so far out and slept, they can't even contest the point. And Powerhouse, my goodness, this isn't... It's like a coin flip to see who takes turns rolling, because Powerhouse is going to be taking the match point and take over Gibraltar.
Yeah, not too surprising looking at, Hollywood, for example, where Powerhouse wanted to play the dive, Goofy Goobers wanted to play the bunker, didn't quite work out for them, and once it stopped working for them, once the Orisa just couldn't find as much value as it did on Hollywood, that became the really difficult part for Goofy Goobers to figure out what they could go to from there, right? They definitely struggled on the Reinhardt composition. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure what their plan was with that, because they looked a little bit lost. When they went over to the dive, they at least knew what their win condition was, but Powerhouse had been playing that forever. They had better ult economy by that point, because Goofy Goobers had to swap to that mid-round. And from there, it never felt like Powerhouse let off the gas, right? So that was more of the Powerhouse that I was expecting. I think once owners swapped off of the Orisa, Speed was like, oh, this is great. This is perfect. I can just do whatever I want now.
I think the issue that came down to Goofy Goobers when it was on that initial brawl was it's not that they didn't have any target focus, it's that they weren't able to have any target focus. We saw them struggle to kind of find a target. They were just perfectly being able to disengage. Speed went on a whole new level of monkey and was just able to just deny them any true value. What he did on Hollywood was sometimes a bit over move in, and they were just able to burst him down eventually, but this time there was just nothing they could do.
Yeah, the target focus, again, similar to Lijiang Tower for Powerhouse, was just really solid. Recto came alive in a really ridiculous way. I haven't seen that from him in years, in all honesty. Like, he didn't really get a reasonable chance to start many seasons after season 0. Last season, unfortunately, with Easy Clap, but he had his moments there. But this is looking like an entirely different beast. And Recto's kind of reborn in a way. It looks like the next map, by the way, will be Temple of Anubis. So if Goofy Goobers were looking for another good Orisa map, this is most certainly it.
My goodness, Temple of Anubis. When was the last time we've ever seen a map like this being played within the League Zero? It's been a decent while. I am over exaggerating. But either way, I'm a little excited. This gives opportunity for Goofy Goober's composition to work beautifully on first point.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a substitution. Boreal is coming back in for Rectophobia. Not too surprising. Boreal is more of that like flex DPS position, especially when Azali kind of is like a overall universal flex DPS. But generally, they like to play the hit scan. It seems the Ash has been what they were on for most of Gibraltar, and Recto seems to be more of that like tracer niche hero specialist that specialists can bring a lot more to the table too. For Boreal, he's more like that May player, that Echo player, Pharah player, possibly. If they want to run something like that. So it looks like Powerhouse is going to be taking just a moment to talk with the coaches, make sure that they don't mess this up. They're on match points, but they're probably going to have to play into a recess, so they just need to take a breather and figure out what to do with the inevitable battle cow coming in up against them.
Yeah, I feel like that's just what they have to worry about. Their coaches want to take up as much time as they can because they need to figure out a counter to this. They struggled initially going up against it, so I can definitely understand wanting to take their time and find out an idea. But I guess trying to roughly think about this to kind of get a sense of what Powerhouse can do, I feel like you just secure and you focus those dives. You make sure that Torbjorn cannot play the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And as to like exactly what compositions Powerhouse plays, oh boy, honestly, they could play everything from their own Orisa composition to like a double bubble once again to hell, even like a brawl composition if they really wanted to. I get the feeling they're going to want to play the double bubble. That seems more their speed right now. It allows them to slot into the style that they seem to like. And speaking of Powerhouse, they are ready, so pretty much just waiting on Goofy Goobers. And from there, we're gonna get into it. I mean, this is match points 2-1, Powerhouse versus Goofy Goobers, and it's honestly shaping up to be quite the series. I could definitely see Goofy Goobers bringing this to a map 5, but they do have to make sure they don't get run over like they did towards the end of Gibraltar.
Definitely see what you mean. Right now, Goofy Goobers may be fighting mentals, but more importantly, they need to be fighting against the map score. Some people may be hoping, make sure you're rooting, because I believe in the Goofy Goobers being able to bring this back in Temple of Anubis. It just works so well for their composition. I don't see why it can't work.
Yeah, pretty much. And unsurprisingly, Powerhouse decides to stay on the offense, as that seems to be their bread and butter. Just go, go, go. So we are going to see the first look at Goofy Goobers and their defense, whereas Powerhouse will have a little bit more time to move around his spawn, although neither of these teams have really done that thus far, so we're probably just going to see their actual compositions, give or take.
I feel as if they are continuously staying on attack is solely just so that they can kind of get an understanding of what their win condition is.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, well, actually, interesting. They are teasing a Wrecking Ball composition, which can absolutely work here and potentially has a great potential, I guess, to dislodge this bunker, depending on if Speed knows the rollout, which I would have to assume he does. It's just going underneath the bridge through main and then kind of looping back around. Unsurprisingly, to the shock of no one, Goofy Goobers sticking with what worked best for them thus far in the series whenever they can get away with it. It's the Orisa composition. Standard at this point. I would expect this from them until they prove otherwise. But no, it looks like Powerhouse is going to be sticking with this more standard brawl composition. So they just want to get straight in Owner's face and punish him for existing, basically.
Yeah, I guess you don't really have to worry about diving a target if you're just collectively running onto the enemy team. But we do see them immediately rotate back. They want to make sure they don't give up, they give up as much space so they take longer poke in range. Look at that, being able to break out the turret. The immortality comes out, Speed's able to start walking. It goes out low, but it's perfectly fine. They're able to start getting some value, getting some picks. X-Runner being able to make sure to get the majority of that value. And Epic Epoch is just having to try to escape, but their mech is basically paper mache to this team, as they don't feel worried and they don't even need to stress because they're just gonna walk into you and kill, to the point where they're deciding, yeah, we're not gonna run this comp anymore.
Yeah, Powerhouse cracked the code, as it were. You don't need to worry about diving onto the bunker. Like you said, if you're a death ball, and you just press W. That's all you need to do. And with, honestly, a stellar Maywall from Bareel to start out that fight, sectioning off like half of Goofy Goobers, there was nothing they could do. So I'm not surprised that they swap over to their own Reinhardt composition, trying to match Powerhouse. However, their ultimates are significantly less charged, and Powerhouse has quite a bit to work with.
Yeah, we see that window being used. That's going to give them a lot of room to play. Looks like Azul is able to find out Scorch. They managed to freeze Owner inside the small cubby. That immortality is going to make sure that Speed doesn't die. And now they're using that high noon to make sure to secure. The Shatter goes out, kind of a BM because he didn't really hit anyone. And now they have control of the point. If there is nobody really to touch here, they managed to pick out Scorch before he can. And look at that, 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Oh my goodness, they want to win.
Powerhouse are done playing around. They just want to end it right. They're like, okay, look, you got us in that first half with the Orisa, but now it's time to put on the big boy pants, and they effectively gained a minute and 15 seconds from start to finish of that round, which is insane and disgusting all at the same time. They didn't let Goofy Goobers breathe. Okay, they just rolled over them. So Goofy Goobers are going to have to come back and make a statement of their own, and that's probably not going to include Orisa. If I'm being honest, they're going to have to play at a faster pace because Powerhouse has taken control of the tempo of this game and forced it to a much faster speed than what the four-legged Omnic, is she an Omnic or just a robot? Either way, the four-legged robots can
I've
provide.
seen
Yeah,
people call Orisa a horse, a spider. Either all of them irritate me because in the end, Orisa is a robot. Well, Omnic, is it racist to call them a robot?
you know, I don't know if there is a differentiation between Orisa and the normal Omnics, because Omnics, I believe, are created by the God programs. You're talking to a lore nerd who's read like dozens of WoW.
No, you've read the same thing over and over again.
No, for World of Warcraft, not this game. There's no lore.
Fair.
There's almost no lore in Overwatch. But either way, I say that as a novel just came out this past weekend. But either way, they are coming out onto this Reinhardt composition. And interestingly enough, they have the Mei Symmetra, so I'm going to be looking for Raja to have some more creative teleporter strategies and like utilize these angles a bit more. Oh no, Speed!
They immediately get blocked off. That immortality is going to be able to sustain, but Boreal's able to find the first pick, but the trades on the Reinhardt are there. Now they're looking to melt things down. We're going to need a bit of target focus coming out of both of these teams. It's kind of a mess as they're just looking to heal. Aka's able to find out Boreal, so that Maywall is going to be gone for the rest of the fight. X-Runner is going to be team-macked. They were looking to take that Sid wall to go behind them, but they don't even have to sweat. They take out the Reinhardt, they take out the D.Va. Now there's no one stopping them. Owners is returning back into the fight. They find out Mythology very late inside that fight, and it looks like they're going to take control over this point. Powerhouse can try to contest, but in the end, they're just going to give up ult charge. But X-Runner does get that first pick, and Azul gets scorched. This is completely winnable now. They're returning back into the fight, and we see X-Runner there. They use that sim wall, and now they're putting pressure onto X-Runner. The Shatter goes out. It is able to hit the Mei, but there's not too many people to be there. The Lucio now is gone. Owners goes down, and Raja. How did they that bad? They were secure. They knew what they needed to do, but they just let the McCree get value.
I'm at a loss for words. That was the most insane retake I've seen in a while, and only these players on Powerhouse could have pulled that off. That's disgusting. Oh no, and the stagger onto Amelia. Schleim has seen better days, but either or, they have time, right? This isn't dire straits quite yet. They got 2 ticks, a little bit over 2 ticks, so like a little smidge, 0.03 or 0.3. But they don't have a ton of ultimates. They're going to have the Blizzard, and that's good to start. They're going to have the BAP Matrix, and they're going to build up a few others in the middle of the fight. But
looks like they want to take that rotation real quick. And we see both Blizzards get used, but it looks like only one team is truly going to be captured. They're kind of even right now, both frozen in. Now they're using that window, but we see Speed playing at that choke. The D.Va Bomb gets placed and the Shatters get committed, both being blocked, but that D.Va Bomb be able to force them back. Now we see them split. Owner's able to find out X-Runner, so he couldn't be able to rematch. Now the fight's looking unfavorable for the side of Speed's gonna be picked off. 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it looks like they're being able to start finally finding room. The high noon, Azul built it up again. He used it early at the start of the fight. Mythology able to clean up what he was looking to finish off. We see the Mei there, and Phone is just looking to escape, but they want to win out this fight. The Simtar is able to help out, but Mythology looks to be the DPS. X-Runners return back into the fight, helping to save at Mythology, but Mythology is going to be finished off. Now the D.Va needs to be able to touch the point, just barely going to be there as we see the Reinhardt return back in. Has no ultimate, they just want to waste time bank. I don't believe this time they'll win it back, especially with Mark on side the high ground looking to just heal, but he's being pressured out by EOC, and it looks like they'll have a chance to cap the second point.
Azali actually was coming back through main and almost contested. I don't think Peter would have been able to 1v6. As ridiculous as this man is, I don't think he's that good, right? He's not the next incarnation of Carpe. No one really is, not even Carpe, it's just a myth, to be honest.
Definitely agree, only Carpe King Carpe. We see that Shatter come out, gonna be hitting them through, but the Blizzards are there to freeze people. Phone is able to find out speed, and looks like Goofy Goobers are caught with their pants down. They're not going to be able to find much of a stall or value. They use that window there. Azul switches over to the Doofus, is looking for that one shot, but the sound barrier there, that's going to give them a lot of room to stall and survive. Scorch manages to find out the Doofus, but we do see speed returning back in. That sound barrier gets used, but I think it gets Ajax. It wasn't able to pop out, even though I saw the animation kind of there. Speed is now looking to find some targets as X-Runner comes back in. He's looking to help peel in. Managed to find out EOC.
No way.
Now Owners, it's just looking up at the team. Manages to get Boreal, charges back in, but this is 2CP. They need to be killing faster. Phone goes on to the Reapers, looking to find out that Doomfist. Now the Demon Bomb gets placed. Owner is not going to be alive to help out the team anymore. They managed to also find out Scorch, and pretty much this stall is going to be successful. They're able to win it back, and Raj just looking for them to kill him so he can go back to the spot room and come up with a plan B.
What was this recontest from Powerhouse? It was beautiful is what it was. They consistently had like one or two people on points, and the rest of them were just barely off of point, poking left and right, finding kills. X-Runner did an incredible job finding kills in the most random of places. The one person on Goofy Goobers was off on a flank, and that person would die to X-Runner almost every single time. And now coming into this, Goofy Goobers are going to have less of a time bank coming into this if they full cap. Right? That's just guaranteed. But at the very least, it's, again, not dire straits yet. But I'm not sure if they can take it with the ultimates they have right now. They might need to take, like, a drive fight.
Well, they choose not to. Look at that. That Demon Bomb's gonna come and split them up, but the Maywall stopping Owner. We see the remake managing to kill off speed, but Owners is gonna get traded in the end. Boreal and Mark being able to be found out. Looks like EOC just wants to win this out with any means necessary. Mythology is able to pick off Phone, and those small individual picks are going to mean a lot. They are gonna be giving up that tick, and we're gonna be seeing them running back in the... We see Mythology get picked off, so Speed is looking to touch. It manages to get it just barely. The Immortality is there, and the Blizzard gets committed. The Immortality is going to be immediately broken, so they have to use that sound barrier to help out their team. We do see Owner punch Marielle. We see Mark and Azula going to be picked off as we see Speed looking to charge. Is going to hit their own. The sound barrier comes in from Mythology. Is going to be able to sustain, but Scorch is putting in so much damage. We now see them being able to start melting down Mythology, but just barely going to be able to miss and survive. But looks like the target focus is going good on the Goofy Goobers, but Azula turns back looking for that pick, being able to find out Scorch, but there's really not that many people being able to kind of escape the fear and violence. And while they are able to cap second point, only with a minute compared to 5:16!
Yep, so what this means now is, of course, Goofy Goobers are going to attack first, because they have the lower time bank, right? So at the very least, they have another chance to attack. And if they can capture even a singular tick on first point, that's going to be a good start, right? They need to capture something. They cannot get full held, otherwise it's a lose or draw scenario. And let's just say drawing on here would go in the history books. I don't see that happening, right? In order to win, Goofy Goobers really needs to capture at least first point, and then maybe something on second points. And that's a tall ask. I don't necessarily know how they do that. Whereas if you're Powerhouse, all you gotta do is just stay focused, right? They're not out of the woods yet, but they're definitely getting much, much closer and putting themselves in a good position to be winning this map and taking the series.
I definitely agree. If this is a draw, I fully believe this is scripted or they're cheating. There is no possible way.
Who would write the script? I do the match organization, and I don't know what's gonna
Players,
happen.
it's behind
The
our
players.
backs. My goodness. It would be absolutely insane. And look at this. It's basically going to be Brawl v Brawl. They're going to be mirrored up, but we're going to have to see Goofy Goobers use this composition correctly if they want to be able to win it out.
Yeah, they did get a lot of value out of Raja's teleporters last time around. Very creative in the positionings, and more so just to make it very awkward for Powerhouse to cut off all of the sight lines, all of the angles. So if they do that again, it might have a good chance. Oh no, but this isn't a great start for Owners.
They block off Owner with the wall. They force that immortality out early.
Oh.
And it looks like Azul's being able to find out Phone. Owners is just not going to be able to survive from the consistent damage from X-Runner. And now they're continuously being able to walk in. Luckily, or unluckily, whichever team you're rooting for it, we see some staggers come out. And now it's 20 seconds left.
Yeah, single fight territory, and I mean, look at the ultimates, right? Marquis is basically going to have his Bat Matrix before Scorch, and Speed has Shatter. More than double of Owner's ult charge. Then the only hope they have right now is probably going to be Scorch and Raja utilizing their ultimates, but they were expecting the Shatter!
Try to go inside the teleporter. The Shatter manages to help find Scorch, who just couldn't go in fast enough. Phone does manage to find out Mythology, and that symbol is now placed there. But we see Azul on the correct side, able to hit some damage, managing to find out Phone. And Owners is the last person alive, but they get walled off by the Mei. They get stuck inside the room that Lucio wasn't able to touch, and they aren't able to get a tick. And that's a new level of BM. That put that in the record books.
Man, Bareel, I said this a lot last season whenever I got the chance to cover his games, because he's consistently like a mid to low Masters player, right? And he got drafted up a division into Advanced. He's technically eligible for Intermediate. Last season he was in Up and Expert, where that division was littered with contenders and contenders trials players, such as, the No Evil guys, Pascal, Jishua, ridiculous amounts of talent, and he was keeping up with them to a reasonable degree. Like, he did a really good job on Z9 last season, and he's just showing it again this season. I mean, these players are pretty consistently much higher SR than him, but he plays really smart, he has the mechanics, and he plays together with his team to create these openings, or to create these win conditions that are just so much higher than what you'd think just looking at his career profile, right? And I can't sing his praises enough for that. Like, ridiculously talented player, and really proving that he deserves to be here. Speaking of which, 516 to capture one tick. That's yeah. I don't know what to say about that.
I'm gonna be real with you, we have a possible star of the future when it comes to that player, but now it's time to finish it out and get the first win. They're gonna wall off so they can rotate, and I wonder what their plan is, because it's just a straight up brawl, but they're going into Phone, who's on Junkrat.
Yeah, Phone definitely likes them some Junkrat. Building up that Riptire is going to be crucial, because they can't lose a fight here. It's just a tick that they have. Oh, that's a good start.
Yeah, that is a good start. They are able to find out Speed. Mark, that Maywell was absolutely beautiful, and it looks like they're going to be forcing Powerhouse to retreat.
Yeah, and when you look at the ults this time around, well, Owners is definitely much higher on the Shatter charge. Not quite too Shatter, unfortunately, so not quite pulling a Speed, but at the very least, you have more ultimates in favor of Goofy Goobers. Coming into this next engagement, they're probably going to be able to start using some of them. I'd expect the Riptire, maybe the Shatter, maybe even the Bat Matrix to come up rather soon. Great wall there.
Look at them already taking the aggression. They want to make sure they can finish this out fast. We see Powerhouse decide to go on the high ground. Oh, but they're being poked out. They're being caught during the rotation. And Phone's tire does get broken, so at least Phone's going to be able to build up some quick ult charge during this. But either way, it looks like Goofy Goobers are going to be able to hold Lucio, though. Mythology's like behind. Oh, gets found out.
Nah, I was gonna say, I think it's a little bit of a tall ask for Mythology to get out with his life, but that's fine, because when you look at it, Powerhouse doesn't really have to use any ultimates yet. They have 3.5 minutes. In like the first round this time, Bank would have indicated that they had a singular fight. They've now taken 2 fights, and have just been steadily building up their ultimates, right? They haven't really had to do anything. However, Goofy Goobers have done a great job thus far on the defense.
You see what you mean. We see them going in. They're looking to take this brawl. They're going to stop before that window can really get value. They're just going to hide. Mark played a very dangerous game by just walking back out and then walking in. Couldn't get headshotted. Now they have ultimates. They have room to play this game. We see that high noon being used combined with the window that can basically shoot them down. They find out Amelia. The sound barrier gets used against the Blizzard, and now the Diva's on the point. They have to touch it up to Phone, but Phone's gonna be picked out, and it looks like the pressure to touch point's gonna catch them with their pants down. The only person left is EOC with the Diva bomb, but they're not able to get a 6K. It's not like that, as Powerhouse wins Temple of Anubis 3-1.
The crucial moment there, Phone tossed in a mine and booped Azali over Owners' shield, and that allowed for the kill onto Amelia, aka Schleim. And losing your main support like that is absolutely tragic, because that opened everything up, and that was the round they had. They might have had a chance to take it otherwise, or at least stall a bit longer. Again, that was such a hard ask to make, especially with the target focus coming up thereafter. But that was a ridiculous map in particular.
That's going to be one to say for the ages. I don't think Goofy Goobers did all too terrible. They just had issues adapting against Powerhouse. But I think this is now a good case to say that Powerhouse really are their namesake.
We're going to be trying to get someone from Powerhouse in for an interview in just a moment here. We just have to figure out which one of them wants it, because every single one of them thus far has been spamming me in chat. So,
Yeah, real toxic. That's what they always do.
So give us just a moment, folks. We'll go to a quick break, and then when we're back, we'll have someone from Powerhouse to interview.
Oh yeah, we're back. Sorry, I had a brain fart. We counted down, and honestly, I think the pure shock of Powerhouse's performance caught me a bit off guard while I was thinking. Because we
Oh,
are here joined by Mythology. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
quite
Well, I
the
should say all right, but I'm doing pretty damn good. I mean, the only map we lost is what I would consider our worst map, so yeah.
yeah, you guys definitely look to struggle a little bit in Hollywood. In particular, did that have anything to do with like the Arisa composition, or as you just said, it seems to be your weakest
Uh,
map, so it's just a practice thing?
so we really just haven't practiced it enough, I think. It's not exactly an Arisa comp because we in scrims, it's not just really been the best map. We play it like 3 times max, and it hasn't just been great. So you can expect a better performance next week, 100%.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you if the other game went to King's Row because I didn't catch that one, but I was kind of surprised it didn't go to King's Row, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. But I guess I'd have to say, what was your guys' expectation going into Goofy Goobers?
Well, we knew they were going to play Orisa, and we knew we were better at Brawl. So it was kind of just a game of we can give up one map and then roll the rest. And well, we did. So
That's
like
a
I wouldn't
strong
consider
map.
Lijiang close. We dumpstered on Gibraltar, and then you saw Anubis. Come on, 5-1.
Pretty much. And I'd say in a lot of regards, you guys lived up to the expectations where most people in like the preseason power rankings thought you guys would be the very top of the leaderboards. Do you think any of that like pressure has gotten to you at all in the game? You know, did that bother you at all coming
Funnily
into this
enough,
game, or just not at all?
quite the opposite actually. Speed's ego is very inflated. I mean, I joke around saying I have an ego, but honestly, I do believe I'm the best main support in this league. There's a massive SR gap. I've actually played in tier 3 before, but I don't think there was much pressure on us overall. I think the biggest pressure on our team was probably on our DPS because Peter is sometimes been proven to be inconsistent. Boreal was rated low in some tiers, so he really wanted to prove himself. And I think we did that today.
I definitely agree. You guys played absolutely strong. And with the advanced division being so slow, I mean, not slow, but low, as there are really only kind of 4 teams, is there really anyone around the corner who you guys are worried about?
Uh, is it mean to say no?
No, it's
No,
not.
that's a reasonable answer. You can be
Yeah,
confident.
no. I don't think we really have many teams to be afraid of because now that week 1's over, we can evaluate the enemies and just plan around. And I think our coaches are amazing. Clay Machine and Duck are fantastic coaches. They both coach really good teams. Duck coaches Regen, Clay Machine coaches Rolling Ronalds. I think overall we have probably the best coaching lineup in the league. Shoutouts, and we can definitely prepare for any other team in this league.
That's fairly true. I guess the only team is like Novice who have tier 2 players. But either way, I don't really
Yeah.
have any more questions, Mr. Acronator, do you?
No, that's pretty much everything I've got.
And do you have anything to say to the people watching?
Our tier list was true. Thanks for asking.
Either way, you are free to go and enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Mr. Acronator, I think today was a beautiful showing. As every advanced team was able to play, we've now seen how the teams will work and how they go against each other. So, really, what are your feelings? Because that's the last game of this week.
Yeah, honestly, I'm excited for Advanced Division, even though Goofy Goobers lost and they looked a little bit inflexible at times with the Arisa composition. I think they definitely showed promise. And just browsing at the other stream, it looked like both teams are showing promise as well. Actually, let me check. Okay, yeah, that game is also just finishing now as we're looking at that. Axolotl actually beating Hope's Peak. Interesting, 3-1. So I guess I can't tell you to go check out that stream because it's now over, much like this one. But yeah, I'm excited for Advanced. It's going to be close, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I am too. But either way, make sure you tune in to League Zero. If you like what you saw, please hit that heart. You will be able to follow up on the content. You can check out the Twitter to stay up to date on games, as well as join the Discord. But more importantly, stay tuned, as next week we'll have more games on Friday, Saturday,
2
and
weeks from
Sunday.
now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
2
I
weeks.
forget. There is Father's Day. Not Father's Day. We're having a
4th of
holiday.
July.
4th of July. My goodness,
Yes.
I forget Independence Day. But either way, make sure you tune in, because we'll see you next time.
Speaking of 4th of July, the fireworks just started up.
God, I hate